Hey folks, Wheels247 here, welcome back to the channel, and welcome to a little indie game called Production Line by Positech Games. Now this is a very early alpha sample of this game, as you can see alpha 1.03, and I have had issues, in so much as sometimes you can successfully put a production line together, and sometimes doing exactly the same steps, inexplicably things do not work. But again, it is very early alpha. It's a really cool concept. You're basically going to build a production line to make automobiles. And let's jump into a game here. I'm going to go with a medium-sized factory, I think. Here we go. And well, we'll just hit pause, because traditionally you do that with these sort of games, although in all honesty, unless you have actually started production, nothing's paused. You know, there's nothing there to slow down. Alright, so there is no tutorial with it. Okay, now I have successfully several times built an assembly line that spits cars out the other end. This is basically your building menu icon. That's what I'm looking for, building icon. So first thing you require is a resource importer. And resource importers, let's get in a little closer here, shall we? Connect to these small windows. Exporters connect to the big windows. So let's put one in. Here we are. Now we can bring resources into our factory. And by resources, I mean parts. Now, eventually you get to build your own parts, but for now, they're going to be a little more costly because we are actually going to bring them in. Alright, now let's get on with the whole car thing. First thing that's required is a chassis assembly plant. And let's slap that down there. Okay, it's telling us there's no route to the stockpile. Alright, in other words, this conveyor, the resource importer, is not connected to their stockpile. So, very good. That tells us that what we need to do is connect some conveyors between the two. Alright, and you can trace out the line if you like. If you want to make it really easy, find the plant's stockpile, and then left click on it, and you can see everything goes clear and it shows a green square. Now we can simply run this across till it connects, and as soon as you've got those, see, the two squares, boom, you now have a connected system, and it will bring resources in along this overhead belt and onto their stockpile. So, let's, and for this particular thing, they're going to require, as you can see, rear axles, front axles, drive shafts, undercarriages, and fuel tanks. Alright, so let's get time going, and let's click on here. They're currently waiting for resources, and here the resources come. Alright, now you can see we're fitting a rear axle, we're fitting a front axle, a drive shaft, undercarriage, and a fuel tank. And boom, we now have our first finished vehicle. Well, finished chassis. I'm sorry, of course the vehicle isn't finished. But as you can see here, we've got a little chassis laid out, ready to go to the next stage. The next stage is to fit a body. Yeah, I know, I'd have probably put an engine in and stuff like that. But no, we're going to fit a body is the next thing they want. And as you can see, there's a lot to do when you're fitting a body. We've got the roll cage, the hood, the trunk, the bumpers, blah, 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 blah. We'll also notice that whereas chassis take 25 seconds to build, bodies take over a minute to assemble. So you're going to find that, of course, these guys are going to build about 2.5 chassis for every body you can stick on it. I suggest wait for the fine-tuning till a little later, because one other thing I'm going to do right now is drop some research offices. Alright, and I think maybe just to get them out of the way here, let's zoom out. And you can turn by clicking your middle mouse button. And we're just going to put them, let's say, here. And I'm going to put another one beside it. Good. Alright, now let's go back to the business at hand. What they're going to allow you to do is go here to research. And the first thing I want to research is body specialization. Okay, and we'll show you that once it's come into being here. Alright, it's not going to do anything. I'm paused, of course. Alright, so we have a chassis here on our first assembly plant. And the next thing we want to do is fit a body. Alright, so let's go to chassis assembly. And let's drop one of those. Oops, nope, I'm sorry. I don't want chassis assembly. I want fit body. There we go. And we'll drop that. Now, again, no route to stockpile. Okay. So all we have to do is continue these two, or this particular overhead, because this is only the second plant. I think we can supply at least 2 plants off this one, right? There we go. Now, I could have, you know, come straight across here and mashed it right across the plant, but I kind of want to watch what happens, because sometimes, for some odd reason, this is where things tend to break down. Now, again, insufficient resources. That's because they haven't received them yet. The other thing we need to be able to do, though, is to put a conveyor between these. There we go. Now these are connected. So once these guys are ready to ship this forward, that's exactly what they'll do. So let's start the process and see what happens. Now you'll notice that these guys are still waiting for their kit. Okay. And here it comes. Now I'm really hoping that they'll start assembly. And again, unfortunately, it doesn't look like they're going to. Maybe if I give them the next shop in line here so they have a reason to live. Resource conveyor. This is, of course, the paint shop. Go, and they should start sending them resources, and again you would put a conveyor between the two to get vehicles from one to the other. So there we go. Now they're starting to tack bodies on here. Alright, and if we click on this, we can see what they're doing. They're fitting the hood, etc., etc. So there's a lot of things to do here, so much so that it takes almost 3 times as long. Now, why did I decide to research fit body as my first project? What you can do, now there's a number of ways to make things more efficient. Okay, let's just quickly pause here. Alright, all of these stages take a certain amount of time. Alright, they don't all take the same amount of time, however. And if we go here and look at the, oops, sorry, I didn't want to buy one, silly buggers. I wanted to click this. There we go. We can see that fitting this, the body frame, takes 40 seconds. The roof, 9 seconds. The doors, 13 seconds. So both of those together take about the amount of time that it takes them to build a chassis. So ideally, you'd like to be able to take the thing that doesn't meet that time spec. This is taking almost twice as long. You'd like 2 of those. And once you've researched a certain thing like chassis assembly or fit body or paint, you can break these down into separate assembly plants. Instead of one giant fit body, we can have 2 fit body frame plants, 1 fit roof, and 1 fit door. And we'll pretty much then be equal with the amount of time it takes to build a chassis. Same thing with each thing along the line. And then again as well, this is still very simple. As the game progresses, rather than ordering, doors, you'll order sheet metal, and all of the, some glass, etc., etc., all the little itty-bitty parts that make a door. And then you'll have a door assembly plant as well. But these are things to come, okay? So we've got, oops, that freaked me out, little auto-save thing. All right, so we've got our paint shop. And the next thing that we want, oddly enough, is fit engine. So, again, let's give them a little bit of a space here to play with. And boom, we'll go that. And we know now from practical experience that we need to connect this. However, I'm already supplying 3 plants, so I think what I'm actually going to do here is head up here to our far wall and have a little looky. Here's another resource importer. So let's do this. Alrighty. And then I'm going to go out here. Oh, by the way, this color coding, when you zoom out, because let's face it, when you've got a plant that's producing every single piece, you're probably going to be playing a lot of the game from out here. Okay, and when you do that, it's going to be handy as heck to know that these different colors mean different buildings, and you'll get used to the colors. The other important color thing is these cars. Green means everything's moving along smooth, you're within tolerance, your time is not either being wasted or being taken up waiting for resources, vehicles to arrive, etc. Yellow, not so good. It means these are sitting here not getting attended to for one reason or another. If you've got a red car in the system, something has broken, and you really need to address it. Okay, now we've got this new resource stockpile. So now let's go to resource conveyors. There's his stockpile, okay, right there. And let's connect this up. Boom. It cost us $1 or $2. Well, $1,400 per post in reality. So I guess $1 or $2 is being, well, Okay, so insufficient resources. All right. Now we also need, of course, to connect the 2 buildings. So let's do that. Boom. Okay. Let's start time again here and keep moving along as well, because we're starting to get a little bit ahead of ourselves here. We've still got a car sitting here in the body, right? Because again, this takes a while, right? There's your vehicle details, by the way. It's an $18,000 car we're building. All right, so we're up to the roof. That's done. Door panels. Let's boot things up even a little quicker, shall we? Let's get the windows in and the wing mirrors, and done. Okay. So now it moves to the paint shop. Okay, paint shop. We are painting the undercoat, and this takes even longer than the body. So again, you might want a couple of paint shops, because you're going to get vehicles jammed up in here for about 9 seconds. Okay. And you can see drying the undercoat. Yeah, it's a long process. Alright, let's move along here with the next stage of the game, which is once we've got an engine fitted, we go to fit accessories. And, oh, why are you backwards? Now this, I think they do this just to keep you on your toes. There we go. Because of course we do want it to be this way, in fact. Let's put that down. Again, we know we need resource conveyors, so we'll start there. And in this case, we can very easily go here, boom, and here, boom. Okay, we're hooked into the system. Let's put a conveyor between the two. Boom. And there we are. We've now moved into engine assembly. Now this one takes a little less time than the paint shop, but it's still got a lot to do. All right, there's a lot of stages. And you can see our big hang up so far is still here. Right, we've got 4 chassis awaiting 1 body assembly. Okay. How are we doing here? Ooh, we're 2/3 of the way through our first car. Getting the engine, the brakes. Nice. Fitting the steering column. Steering wheel. Whoop. Quick autosave. Boom. And away we go. We start the next car. Except, of course, it's still sitting in the paint shop. Alright, now we'll come to the fit accessories part. We need to get our next thing, which oddly enough, fit electronics is not yet implemented. But we can go quality check. And quality check doesn't require any parts, it just requires to be connected. So we're going to, oops, do that. There we go. And you'll see they're now coming into the fit accessories zone. Now the final thing that we need to do to successfully do this is put in an export. And that, why aren't you turning? There we go. Oh, I guess you'll turn on your own depending on the way things work. Okay. So let's pop that down. Last thing we need is to connect a conveyor from there to here. Boom. Alright, we should actually be able to turn that off now. So, here we go. Alright, you guys are waiting for a vehicle. Oh, don't let it break down here. Come on. Really? You're gonna get stuck there so I can't get my vehicle out the door? No, come on. Come on. Don't do this to me. Yeah, for some reason they're not pulling into this next slot. So there are things you can do to alleviate some of your backlog issues here. You'll notice when I click on it, you've got upgrades. Right? You can put extra robots on there, and they'll speed up the time. Now, I haven't actually researched robots. I went for a different one first, which, by the way, how is that coming? Oh, you can see we're about halfway through it. Alright, I'm going to have to try something here. We're going to have to get rid of this and this. You'll notice you do get some money back. Okay, let's try going to there. Let's get quality check. Let's put him there. And then let's get conveyors from here. To there. And then let's get conveyors from there to there. Let's see if this works for them. Come on, pull in. There we go. Again, I don't know why sometimes these things work and sometimes they don't. But this is the final process, as you can see. There's our first quality check. It's going to our exporter so they can sell our first bright red car. And once they've had a look at it and deemed it fit for export, we get to name it. So this is going to be first run. Good name for a car, right? And we can figure out that, well, it cost us $18,000 to buy, plus another $120 for that. So we want to sell them for, let's say, $25 and change. Let's save the new design. And out it goes. We've sold our first car. And as you can see, the factory will slowly crawl along, and again, right? So what we would do next, of course, is go to our next one and build a more efficient version. This will keep our money coming in while we do that. And this would be the time that we would do things like split this into another, another series of plants once our research was done, or add a couple of robots once we research robots, etc., until you eventually get it so that all of these are nice and green and you've got a constant flow. So, but that's the basics of getting a plant together, and you can see it'll show up here, your car stock and sales, okay? And right now you can only make one type of car. Again, this is going to vary as well. You will very, very soon in this game's life be able to fill these plants up ridiculously quickly. So, but there you go, guys. I think that gives us a fair idea of just the start of it. Again, how am I doing research? Yeah, not quite, eh? Well, I'll tell you what. Let's at least research or get to the end of this research thing. Keep pumping cars out. You'll notice a little bit of red flashings. Now, if they flash like here, insufficient resources. So let's click on this. Oops, I meant to click on this actually. There we go. It's telling us that it doesn't have enough radiators. Okay, so it's slowing down because they can't get radiators to it quick enough. So that's where you'd get to go into here and put in a supply stockpile somewhere close, connect it to the chain, and have it stock some radiators for you. And if you put a stockpile down, like I'll just do one here for the heck of it, okay, let's say we put it here. Okay, now we'll connect it to a resource conveyor. There we go. Now, if we click on it, let's get rid of the resource conveyors first. Okay, you can add an item. So it was radiators we were short of. So we go down to radiators, we go radiator. How many would you like it to keep in stock? Well, let's see, how many does the fit engine use? Let's have a look at that first. Radiators. I can't, oops, sorry. I can't actually see it, unfortunately. But, oh, actually I could. Where'd we go here? Okay, at this time, unfortunately, you also can't move these. So if we add radiator, oh, we've already got that in there. We just want to tell it the amount. Let's say we're going to add 8. There we go. Good enough. Close that. Now, we'll notice that amongst other things, it's going to make sure there's some extra radiators in stock. Okay, right now it's sending some paint out. Right. But as soon as it's got a break in where it's sending things to other places, as I said, it will come in here and drop some radiators. So we shouldn't be running out of radiators here anymore. So, but there you go, guys. That's been a quick look. We will, I will do up another episode of this and show you guys how we can split all of these factories and see if we don't. Oh, okay. Now his problem is disc brakes that they need some extras of. So yeah, we would again simply include disc brakes, brakes. There we go, and we'd like 14 of those. Okay, thanks. All right, and it would start to ship extras of those as well. So there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, please remember to hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, this is a good time to find out when you can see more of this and, of course, the other content on the channel. And we're actually making money now. That's bizarre. And, yeah, thanks so much for stopping by. This has been Species 7, having a look at production line. There will be links to the game, etc., down in the list below. Take care of each other, folks, and ciao for now.